Well, Palaszczuk and Matt Michaels here on KTGR and KTGR.com. Missouri falls 77-71 to LSU last night. The Tigers fall to 2-3 in SEC play. Did we notice a difference in the Tigers, or did it look just like the other two losses we've seen in the conference?
Well, I saw a difference, and I would say that would have to be the Tigers went in the lane despite the fact that LSU has so much length on their front line. We knew about the big guys inside. We knew about O'Brien. We learned a little bit about Mickey with his blocks and rebounding success in the game. But the Tigers' main problem was they couldn't score outside of the big three, and we have seen that before. Unless it was Ross, unless it was Clarkson, unless it was Jabari Brown, who had a career high with 28, it wasn't really anybody else, and it came to bite him this time, just like some folks had said it could bite him in the SEC play this year.
Missouri scores 71 points, 63 of them from only three players, Clarkson, Ross, and Brown. Brown had a career-high 28 in a losing effort. Missouri able to get the ball inside, but when you look at the stat sheet, it was getting rejected more often than not by LSU's very intense front line.
Yeah, and they lost the rebounding battle too, which is a testament, I think, to LSU's length. Remember, the Tigers have not been getting out-rebounded in many games, despite the fact that they don't really have that huge presence inside. Williams had 8 for the Tigers in this game, and normally he's the top rebounder. It was Ross who was actually in double figures for the rebounding for Mizzou in this game. And the blocks inside, were they clean? Yeah, probably, because Mizzou only took one foul shot in the first half. They've needed those free throws in their games that they've won this season, like the Auburn game. I mean, they had to shoot 30 or something to actually come out of that game with a 2-point win on the road. When Mizzou doesn't get its foul shots on the road, it looks like they're going to have a hard time winning games unless they get more production inside. They didn't in this one, and look at the result.
Tigers fall to 2-3 in conference play. They didn't get to the free throw line. Could be a product of the fact that they were on the road, but it seems to me that when they go inside, they're not as aggressive as other teams are, and LSU was showing ball movement, which is something that's been hard for Missouri to show at times, especially outside of those big three.
Well, I think that they were aggressive inside in terms of the guard play, but in terms of traditional post play, I mean, we haven't really seen that from Missouri this season, and they don't have a lot to go on from that because you're so young inside.
Well, they were getting post touches early, which is something that is new for them, but it just didn't seem like they were consistent. Like, there were good possessions from Missouri, and we saw probably more good possessions in this game than we have in any road game Missouri's played this season. But it just didn't seem to be consistent enough. It seemed like there were some possessions where Frank Cath either drew a set play off a timeout, or they were able to get some movement and actually run a set. But then there were others where it just seemed like we've seen the stagnant. It's just not enough consistency over the course of 40 minutes and even parts of halves. But still, Missouri has not put two good halves together. They've put parts of the first half, parts of the second half together, but they didn't seem to get a full 40 minutes out of that unit last night.
Well, when they get a full 40 minutes, we'll know because they'll win the game. I think that our measure of getting a full 40 minutes has been Missouri's been able to win when they do that, if they do that, but we haven't really quite seen that yet. Maybe the UCLA game would be closest, and even in that game, they were down in double digits in the second half. So it's kind of hard to judge right now because if you saw Missouri hitting on all cylinders for 40 minutes, I think we both agree they'd be a good team. We just haven't seen that so far this year, and so they're not a good team, and the results tell everything, too. All I'm going to say is this. A 500 team in the SEC will have to win the SEC conference tournament to go to the Big Dance. I find no question in that, and you can refute me if I'm wrong.
I don't disagree with you at all, and I don't even know if anybody beyond the top two is even a sure fit inside the NCAA tournament beyond Kentucky and Florida. What's a team going to have to do in order to get that third team into the NCAA tournament? Right now, the SEC RPI-wise behind the A10 as far as the RPI goes. So it'll be very much a tall task to get more than two into the Big Dance. An old friend comes to Mizzou Arena on Saturday in the person of Frank Martin and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Pre-game coverage 2:30 on the Zimmer Sports Network. And don't forget the big pep rally over at the Mizzou Rec on Friday evening, 7 p.m. The big show will broadcast live from the Mizzou Rec from 4 until 6. For Matt Michaels, I'm Will Palaszczuk. We'll catch you at the arena on Saturday on the Zimmer Sports Network.